Hello and welcome back. I'm Natalie MacDonald and you're watching Dukascopy TV. Joining me in the studio now to discuss Swiss legislation and its impact on the financial community, I'm joined by Eriz Vazey of MMVR Legal. Eric, thank you so much for coming in today.
Good afternoon, Natalie. Thank you.
Okay, so Swiss law entrenched bank secrecy in 1934, a move which has almost been systematically undone in recent years. Walk us through the progression of Swiss banking regulation.
Well, Natalie, as you have mentioned, bank secrecy codified in Switzerland by Swiss Banking Act of 1934. This act was following a public scandal in France when French Prime Minister Fabien Alberti mentioned tax evasion from eminent French personalities, including politicians, judges, directors of newspapers who were hiding their money in Switzerland. Then in March 2009, under pressure from the G20 and the OECD, the Swiss government has announced that there will be no more distinction between tax fraud and tax evasion in dealings with foreign clients. But let's be clear that this distinction remains valid for domestic clients. In October 2013, after signing 12 new double taxation treaties, in accordance with the international standard set by OECD, Switzerland was removed from the grey list of non-compliant tax jurisdictions. At the same time, the Swiss government announced its intention to sign an international agreement, also sponsored by the OECD, that if ratified by Swiss Parliament, will definitely end the special secrecy that clients of Swiss banks has enjoyed in the past.
The loosening of Swiss banking secrecy laws has caused many clients to think with their feet and move their assets to other locations. Singapore, for example, has been a big recipient. In your view, has long-term damage been done to the financial community here in Switzerland?
Frankly, my answer is no. Actually, bank secrecy is one among other assets of the Swiss financial center. The high level of expertise, the excellencies of its service, the political stability of Switzerland, its central location in the heart of Europe, and also the strength of its currency, easily explain why the huge flow of money going to Swiss banks never stopped in the past years, and why the country is still very much appreciated by people seeking to protect their money.
Now, looking a little bit closer at Switzerland, Switzerland possesses a very, what some may call, strong referendum model, recently rejecting what would have been the highest minimum wage in the world. Walk us through some of the pros and cons of this approach.
Well, historically, I would say that people in Switzerland were used to take part to the management of the country. They still are. In terms of politics, new ideas and solutions do not only come from politicians, but also from simple people. The upside of such system is the high level of people involvement in political debate. The downside of the system is the fact that sometimes it's very hard, very difficult for common people to analyze technical issues without emotional approaches, as shown in recent voting. But after all, if you look at not only its financial strength, but also its international ranking in different sectors, at education, research, I would say that Switzerland did well until now with its model.
One of those recent items, as you mentioned, the EU has criticised Switzerland's plans to curtail immigration 4 months after the very narrow passing of the quota bill. The Swiss Employers Association has warned that it will discourage investment because firms will not be so sure that they can recruit qualified staff. Would you agree with that? What could the implications be for businesses?
Natalie, I do not believe that there will be serious implications for the business sector. Thanks to its small size, Switzerland has the capacity to react very quickly and modify the rules according to the needs of the industry if required. To my opinion, there will not be serious implications. If there are someone, I am quite confident that the country will find creative solutions in order to respect the people well and also to take into considerations the needs of his industry.
Eric, thank you so much for coming in and sharing your thoughts with us. Pleasure.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me to be here.
That's all we've got time for right now. But if you want all of the latest interviews from Market Insiders, then do stay tuned to Dukascopy TV. Goodbye.